I'm Sue Richardson, and yes, I'll tell you a little bit about the nature of my work. I guess it's sort of based in the fact that I started off studying graphic design rather than fine art. And so everything that I made had to be fairly instantly recognisable to an audience, and I wanted them to take notice of it. So that's always in the forefront of my mind when I'm making things. I mean, lots of the themes are to do with women's issues, things that affect women particularly, just because that's what I know about. And I quite often use domestic things like domestic objects, found objects, things that are in the home, quite a lot of crochet, bits of sewing. Crochet I learned specifically because I had a friend who did patterns that I liked. She showed me how to do it, and it was very easy, and I realised very quickly that I could make three-dimensional things without too much trouble. And also, I don't like getting my hands sticky, so I'm not very good with paint and things like that. So colourful, bit humorous, because that always gets people to have a look. And you can do quite sort of heavy imagery, you know, with quite heavy messages if you use a bit of humour and some nice colours and nice yarn, you know. I've always mainly worked from home and just sort of fitted it in around everything else I'm doing, and like to have things near at hand, so when I get an idea, you know, I can do a bit, and while I'm watching telly I listen to the radio. I can stop doing it and start again easily. I did for a very short while have a very tiny studio, which was near the office that I worked in, so I thought I could maybe go there after work or before work. But I found that I just sat there, you know, I didn't actually like it, because it put me on the spot, I think. You know, you're here and now you have to make art. I mean, a lot of my work is about what you can do sitting on a sofa, where, you know, you're not having to go anywhere else to do it. I mean, partly now because I'm older and I don't want to be moving around too much, but, you know, also in the past it was because I was restricted with childcare of some kind. I'm much happier when I can sort of sit with you know, a bag of, or a box of colours next to me. If I haven't got any clever ideas, you know, I just sort of make them into things that are nice anyway. You know, in the 70s, I'd left art college, I'd come to Birmingham, I'd got married, I'd become a mum. And I felt totally as though my identity had gone, you know, particularly as an artist. You weren't encouraged in the 60s and 70s, you know, that there would be any kind of work for you. So a lot of the creativity, you know, was stifled then. I actually started work again because I met another mum at the local baby clinic, and we just immediately, you know, thought, oh great, you know, we can sort of help each other to get back into it a bit. And she knew a couple of other women, and we started a small group, and we called ourselves Birmingham Women Artists, and we started making work again. At one point we went to I think it was the first Women's Art History Conference in London, and we met Kate Walker, who was one of the people talking about her work, which she said she did at home on the kitchen table. And did anybody else, and would they like to join in with this postal art event that she has started to set up? And we said, yeah, we'd love to do that. And that was the start of the post event, which was really just us sending messages through artworks, through the post, to people that we knew. Some were artists, some weren't. Most were mums, but not all were. So really it was all about working with other women, getting your confidence back, feeling that you were something other than somebody's mum or somebody's wife. You know, regaining your name. Quite a lot of us went back to our original names, if we changed our names, all sorts of things like that. So it was very much personal. It certainly wasn't about selling work, you know, it was just about communicating with other people, particularly with women. Obviously I couldn't carry on doing that forever. I mean, it was when the babies were tiny, there was no childcare, so you had to stay at home and look after them. There was also no maternity leave, so any job that you had went. And I'd been teaching and I had to leave that. I did some part-time teaching afterwards, but mainly, you know, I just had a succession of tiny jobs just to keep my head above water, really. I also got divorced in the 70s, you know, so it was a case of just survival. and, you know, earning what you could, where you could really. So not a lot of artwork happened. One of the works that I made originally for the postal event was Burnt Breakfast. And I've just been looking at some notes, which were the notes that I made before I actually crocheted it. And it was about how I just learned to crochet, and I wanted to be doing it, you know, I wanted to be finding out all the different ways that you could build things with it. And I had to keep going off and making a meal, or, you know, looking after my son, and, you know, doing all the other household things that were happening around me. And so I had to keep putting it down and starting again. And Burnt Breakfast, because I burnt the breakfast while I was doing it once. So I thought, well, it's a good subject, isn't it? It kind of says what it's like being, you know, a young single parent mother, trying to be an artist as well. You know, it's difficult, and it comes out with Burnt Breakfast. I hope that when people come to see my exhibition, particularly younger people actually, I hope that they'll find things in there that they could relate to, things that they'd also like to see changing, you know. And I mean, if they are making work of their own in whatever field, you know, that they carry on from there rather than going back and doing this again.